Hello everybody. Today we're going to be doing hive inspection number 6. We're going to be looking at what we did last week. We took the top box off, so we're going to see how they're filling out this single deep here. See if they like it better. Bees like small spaces, so I think putting that top box on there was too much. They should like this a lot better. So we're going to see how much they've done in this last week since I've taken that off. You can probably already tell at the entrance there are a lot more bees than there used to be. They're guarding this more than they used to. They don't have to fill out this entire box looking for enemies or pests or anything like that. They moved all down here and they can guard the entrance more efficiently now. They don't have to guard that entire area. There wasn't enough bees to really do that with. So now that they just have this single deep, they're able to guard the entrance more efficiently, and they feel more comfortable now that there's just the single deep. So we're gonna take a look inside and see what it looks like. Okay, so we're gonna get into this now, and we're gonna look at it. We're gonna smoke the entrance, calm these guard bees down, smoke the edges in case there's any sitting around it, and we're gonna see how this looks. Oh, there's a lot of bees on the lid. That's good. It means they're pretty active. Break this open. Lots of bees on the lid. Nothing wrong with that. Just thought I'd show you guys. So one thing I found in one of my videos was that I had a few, like 1 or 2 small hive beetles, which usually isn't a problem, but they were in that double deep and they just didn't have enough bees to defend that whole area. So that the beetles is one reason why I wanted to move them down to this, so they have more bees to protect the hive. So far this looks good though. This looks really good. All right, let's pull a couple of these frames and we'll see exactly how they're doing here. All right, we're gonna pull this end frame here. Probably be just honey, a little bit of nectar on that side. Some brood over here, mostly honey on the bottom. We got some cat brood, and well, nectar, a lot of nectar on the bottom there, which will eventually be honey. So that frame looks really good for where it's located. Let's pull a second frame here. This is one of the new frames that went in the beginning. This was one of the new frames that wasn't a part of the original nook. It's got some brood on it, eggs in there. There's the queen. She is roaming around right here. I'm gonna put her on camera for you. There she is. See if she lays any eggs for you here. There are a lot of eggs on this frame, so she has been laying today. There are a few empty cells there around her. I see where she could, but I don't think she is. Looks like they'll be in front of her is feeding her. They'll do that so she doesn't have to go look for food. They bring it to her. Okay, well, unfortunately, it doesn't look like she's gonna do any laying for you guys today. Hopefully, we'll see her lay in the future. So I'm gonna put her back over here. All right, now we're gonna check some more of these other frames here. Really stuck together with this propolis. And the propolis is what the bees use to stick the hive together. Make sure that it's not gonna fall apart. All right, so we're gonna check this next frame here. All right, good brood. Got some brood going in here. I don't know if you guys can see it. There, I've cleared some of the bees out of the way. Maybe you can see down in there. All that white you see in the cells is larva with a little bit of yellow pollen. So this frame looks really good. A lot of brood hatching, a lot of brood being laid. So she's doing a good job keeping up with the amount of eggs she's supposed to lay a day. Queens can lay anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 eggs per day. That's what a good queen should be laying. And it looks like she's doing a pretty good job keeping up with that. This is a lot more bees than I've seen in here before. So this hive is getting stronger, and it does look better than even last week when I looked in here. Just last week they were so spread out. It was hard to tell if this was actually a good hive or not, just based on seeing the bees. Right, this was also a new frame that we put in there. Looks like it's got a lot of brood, mostly pollen going in on this frame. A lot of brood on it though. We are seeing more and more orientation flights happening as we walk back here during the day, which is good. Brood on this side. Yeah, got some brood on this side. Mostly just... Also, this is what I was trying to show you guys last time. This right here is a queen cup. When the bees want to push out their queen or when they want to swarm, they'll put an egg in there and they'll feed it royal jelly and make it a queen. That's what a queen egg starts out in right there, that little cup. There is not an egg in there, so we don't have anything to worry about. They just built it to build it pretty much. I like to call it a practice run, just so they know how to do it. They're not really interested in doing it right now. I just want to make sure that they know how to do it, just in case she gets lazy. Because no matter what you've been told, the queen does not run this hive. The female workers run the hive, and she's just there to make sure the hive stays good. Because without these workers, these females helping her and do everything for her, there would be no hive. It's all thanks to these worker bees. Original nook frame here. Lots of brood, lots of larvae in there. Let me see if I can move some of these bees. Here we go, move some out of the way for you. See all the larvae in there, lots of pollen going in because the larva's got to eat. Larva eats pollen because it's just protein. The bees are busy on this frame. The back side of this frame, the bees are busy. They're doing lots of work over here with the pollen and just taking care of the brood and stuff that's on here. A busy frame. If you guys do decide to get into beekeeping, there's a trick. When you're moving frames like this, you take one out and leave it, and then you just move everything over. That way you have less risk of squishing your queen. This is another one full of eggs and brood. Another frame here. I'm trying to find a bee doing a waggle dance. That's what it's the dance they do when they tell the other bees where food is. It's called a waggle dance. I don't see any of them doing it right now. But if I do see one, I'll definitely show you guys that. The other side of that frame, there's just a lot of bees, pollen, and lots of larvae in there. So the queen still doing a good job laying. Now in July, that's when you want to check your queen. Now's when we would be checking her to make sure she is laying like she's supposed to. And if not, we would look into replacing her. But I think she's doing a very good job right now. Everywhere you look in here, there's eggs and larvae and just capped brood everywhere. It's not in the best pattern that you would ever hope for, but it's in a good pattern to me. I'm looking at an old frame here. It looks really good. So we're looking at an old frame, the original frame. Lots of larvae in here. So lots of eggs, lots of larvae. And again, we are seeing a lot of orientation flights going on in the afternoons now, so that's good. I am going to start feeding the bees again, just because I see some of these frames still need to be filled out, and they're not doing it because for one, it's too hot. It's not cool enough for them to really work on that. And two, they just don't have the energy. These bees are busy out collecting stuff to feed all this brood. And they're just not filling out some of these frames like they need to be. Like this one, for instance, when we moved in last week. Nothing really on it. It's just kind of barren. There are no eggs, pollen, or anything on this. There is nothing on this frame, nothing. In a hive like this, there's another queen cap or queen cup that they're doing nothing with. There's nothing inside of it. That's just, they built it just in case. All right, we got 2 more frames to look at here, and then we'll be done with this inspection. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit. Okay. Lots of capped brood going in on this side. It looks like they are eating some of their honey reserves they've had. So that tells me that I need to start feeding them. Tells me that they're struggling to find anything to make honey with. So I'll do that later today. I'll put on a little bit of sugar water, 1-to-1 ratio, and see if I can get them back to where they need to be on reserves and stuff, so they can build this comb out. All right, last frame here that we're gonna look at. All right, this one is a very heavy frame. Looks like it's just full of nectar, whatever they can find. A little bit of honey on this back side here, honey capped over there. And on this side, this is a lot less than we had last week. So they are definitely eating their honey reserves. So we're gonna give them some sugar water so they don't have to search as hard, and they can fill out those 2 frames because these frames that were empty, there's about 3,500 cells on each side. So that's 14,000 cells we're missing out on when you think about it like that. So we really need to build those up, because that's 14,000 eggs, or 14,000 honey storage cells, or whatever they put in it, that we're missing based on these two frames. So we've got to get them to fill these out. So we're going to put some sugar water on top today. I'll try to add that in the video, and hopefully they'll build out these two frames with the sugar water, and we can get them back. We can get these frames back to where they need to be. All right. So what I was saying earlier is, if you are looking into beekeeping, just move the frames straight across. Another thing that will help these empty frames is putting them closer to the middle. The closer to the middle they get, the more they want to build them out, because the middle of their hive, they want to be one of the strongest points, and they don't like the empty space. So they're gonna build out those frames quicker if they're in the middle. So if every time you do a hive inspection, you just move everything from this end down to the end, eventually these two will be right in the middle here. So probably in another 2-3 weeks, these will be right here, and they'll build them out more. So because they don't like that empty space there in the middle. You don't want to hear any crunching when you do this. Because you never know, one of those crunches may be your queen. So you want to be extra careful when you're doing this part, moving everything back to where it needs to be. Yep. Now these two frames, again, they'll get closer to the middle. They'll get closer to the middle, and they'll want to build these frames out more just because they're empty and in the middle of the hive. A little trick I learned. If you're interested in looking up more information on beekeeping, I really recommend looking at David Burns on YouTube. He's got some great videos if you're interested in learning more about this. Of course, I would love to teach you, but I don't think I'm that experienced yet. Okay, all right, we've got everything where it needs to be. Push everything over just a little bit. We're going to take this last frame here. We're going to move it to the end. All right, we're going to take it, push it towards the other one there, and push it towards the other one. You kind of want to leave a gap on the ends, but for the most part, that looks really good. Take this inner cover and put it back on. I'm going to do it at an angle, set it on there, and then push it, because that moves the bees out of the way so you don't squish any. Actually, I need to take this frame hanger off here, just like that. I don't think I squished any. I think they're okay. Good news is I did not see any small hive beetles this time. So that means that moving them down to this box really helped out. They were able to push those beetles out or kill them entirely. Because there's so many more guard bees now. There's so many more bees on the frames. It's just they're more able to get in those nooks and crannies now and get those beetles out. Don't want to squish any bees. All right, so this week's hive inspection was really good. Seen everything we needed to see. We seen a lot of brood, a lot of larvae, a lot of eggs. Queen is walking around on a freshly laid frame of eggs. So So she's doing good. I don't think there's any need to replace her right now. And this is the month again where you would want to do that. You would, if she's laying bad brood pattern, not laying, just a weak hive, now's the time you would want to replace her if you were going to. But I don't think there's any need to. She's doing good. She'll go through the winter with them, hopefully. As long as everything works out right, this queen, she'll be an overwintered queen next spring. So that's what we want. We're gonna go through the winter with her as of right now. And I also want to thank the 19 subscribers I have. One away from 20. So one more subscriber will be at 20. And I think that'd be really cool. Any questions, any videos you guys want to see me make? I plan on doing a video about mite control here soon, maybe end of this month, early August. I'll do a video on mite control. But anything else you guys want to see? Do you want me to show more of the queen? Do you want to see more of the larva and the eggs and stuff like that? I can try to zoom in a little with the camera. My dog pushing me over. But anything you guys want to see, let me know. Again, I want to thank everybody that's watching, commenting, liking these videos. It really helps. Lets me know that you guys like what I'm doing. But we'll do this again next week, and we'll see the progress. I'll add at the end here me putting the sugar water on, and we'll try to get that in the video as well to show you how that process goes.